IELTS Speaking Questions Part 2 for 2020. This video is about experiences. I'm going to be giving you the questions that are new in the test in January 2020 regarding experiences, and I'm going to be giving you model answers to help you prepare your own answers to these questions, including how to structure your answer and what sort of vocabulary you should be using in describing questions about experiences. This is the 5th video in a series. If you want to see the other ones are covering the themes of people, places, things, and activities. There's links to all of those below. To be well prepared for your speaking test, you must look at these questions. You must know what the current questions are to avoid nasty surprises, and also to prepare for your test, to prepare these topics so that you're able to give effective answers that impress the examiner. Let me just give you a quick overview of what's included in the rest of the video. I'm going to show you new questions in 2020. I'm going to give you some model answers for these questions. Then I'm going to give you some ideas for answering this type of question. Let's move on now and have a look at some ideas for answering this type of question. Describe a time when someone apologized to you.
Last month I was riding my motorcycle home, and I was in a rush as I was tired and hungry. Also, I had a lot of studying to do to prepare for an upcoming English test. Wouldn't you know it, I ran into heavy traffic and had to wait for the flow to resume. As I was waiting, I was hit from behind by a car that caused me to fall. I scraped my knee and had some minor bruising, but I was not seriously injured. I was sure thankful I was wearing a helmet, as I felt my head hit the pavement. I might have suffered a concussion or worse. Before I even had a chance to pick myself up, the lady driver ran over and apologized profusely, offering to take me to the hospital and pay for any expenses and damages. People nearby helped me up and righted my bike. I inspected my knee, which hurt but was not bleeding, and since I had a first aid kit at home, I could easily bandage it. I accepted her apology as she was sincerely concerned and apologetic. On reflection, I could have asked for restitution for my pains and minor scratches on the motorbike. But accidents do happen, and thankfully, nobody was injured.
Describe an important journey that was delayed.
Last year, I was very excited to return to my village from Beijing during Chinese New Year to reunite with my family and hopefully meet and hang out with a few of my friends from high school and university. Knowing that traveling at that time of the year, especially during that event, can be very busy on the transportation system, I booked my ticket to leave early and arrive as early as I could in my village. Everything went smoothly, although the train was very crowded during the first leg of my trip. When transferring to the bus, however, things changed. I was scheduled to take had been delayed and would be at least 2 hours late. Since I started my trip early, I still had plenty of time and wasn't worried that I would get home late. The bus finally did arrive 3 hours behind schedule, was loaded up, and I continued on my trip. Difficulties compounded when an hour into the journey, the bus skidded off the road. Though there was some panic, fortunately there were no injuries, and we had to wait for the bus to be pulled back onto the road. With no apparent damage, we continued our way, finally reaching my stop without any other incidences. As I waited for my dad to pick me up at the bus station, I was thankful and relieved that I had arrived safely. In the village, many people had arrived already, and some were in transit, so I missed very little of the celebrations.
Describe an occasion when you could not use your mobile phone.
Months ago, I don't know how, but I lost my smartphone. I was on the subway, and after I disembarked, I discovered it was gone. I didn't know if I was a victim of a pickpocket or it had just slipped out of my pocket. Early the next morning, I went to the transit station to see if it had been turned in, but it had not. Deciding on a replacement phone to buy was difficult, as there were new specifications and features available. I read reviews and listened to advice from friends, and finally decided on a make and model I wanted. Fortunately, the desired phone was coming on sale, and I made my decision to purchase the latest Samsung model from the Samsung retailer at a local shopping center. Now, I don't know about you, but I rely on my mobile a lot to keep up to date on the news, stay in touch with friends, and receive my emails and texts. Also, I find it handy to search for information online and occasionally play some games. I felt isolated and alone without my phone, and disappointed that I would have to spend considerable funds on a replacement. The day of the sale, I rushed down to the Samsung store, made my purchase, and returned home. Fortunately, my pictures, videos, and contacts were saved to the cloud online, but it took some time to reinstall the applications I use.
Describe an occasion when the weather prevented a planned activity.
It was Friday afternoon, and the weather forecast for the weekend looked promising. I decided a visit with my parents in the village would be my plan for the weekend, as I had not seen them for a long time. I phoned my mom and invited myself over to spend the weekend. I also mentioned I would invite my cousin for a visit, so we could catch up and hang out. However, the weather can be unpredictable, and during my commute home, the skies opened up and the torrential rain started. I got soaked just on the travel home, so I called my mom to explain that I would have to make it another time. She agreed, as it was raining heavily there too, and understood my postponement. I live in a large apartment complex and casually know a few people there. I thought it would be a good idea to invite some people over to listen to some music and socialize. After a few calls, 4 of my neighbors agreed to come over at 7 o'clock. As is traditional in China, they brought some food and drink to share. We ate and drank while telling some stories, and it turned out to be a very enjoyable evening.
Describe a time when you were excited.
One of the most exciting and memorable occasions was my graduation from university. I was celebrating the end of my student life with classmates, friends, and family. In China, as you may know, education matters a lot. It is a very stressful and labor-intensive experience, and parents are anxious to see their child certified with high honors and embark on their career. As such, getting your diploma is a big deal in China, both for parents and graduates. While I attended university, I lived in the dormitory, but this day I stayed with my parents who lived in the suburbs. I was comfortable to be at their home and away from the dorm, especially away from the hustle and bustle of the city. I was looking forward to all the activities planned for me on this special day. We drove to the university for the graduation ceremony and speeches. The auditorium was full with graduates up front and the friends and family sitting towards the back. The commencement speech was delivered by the dean, which was long but very inspiring. Next up was dinner at a buffet restaurant where we had a huge variety of dishes and desserts. I stuffed myself on my favorite foods. I went back to the dormitory to change into casual clothes before going to the after-grad party. At the party, we talked about our futures. Some graduates had job prospects and some were returning to school to further their education. All in all, it was an exciting but very exhausting day.
Describe a difficult challenge you met.
A few months ago, I updated my smartphone. Deciding which phone to buy was difficult, as there were specifications and features I did not understand. I read reviews and listened to the advice from friends and finally decided on a make and model I wanted. Fortunately, the desired phone was coming on sale, and I made my decision to purchase the latest Samsung model from the Samsung retailer at my local shopping center. One of the main features I wanted was improved photo and video capabilities, and my new phone had better optics. I was amazed at the better quality and sharpness. Previously, I would share the occasional picture and video with friends and family, but now, with better quality results, I wanted to be more creative with my posts. Therefore, I took on the challenge of exploring audio and video editing software and making more interesting presentations. I downloaded and tried many free software programs, but I didn't get the results I wanted. Eventually, I settled on a package that was not too expensive, would not overburden my computer, and gave good results. The program provides the usual clip, cut, and paste features, and also has numerous text features, transitions, overlays, and elements that can be added to my presentation. Although perhaps not important in the overall video experience on the internet, it is important for me as I have a learning challenge and provide better videos for my friends.
With experiences, we could talk about the people we have the experience with, the place the experience occurs in, some of the things that were used when having the experience. I want to just take a bit of time here to explain how, when we've got a topic such as an experience, it can draw upon all the other themes that we've been learning. You can talk about the place the experience occurs, the activity that was involved in having the experience, the person or people we have the experience with, and things that are used when having the experience. We've also got some other aspects that we can talk about with experiences. We can talk about when we had the experience. When I was an adolescent, which means when I was a young adult. Or when I was in my 20s, which means age from 20 to 29. We've got 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. We can talk about why we had this experience. Maybe I needed to chill out, to relax. Maybe it was necessary in order to do something. Maybe it was unavoidable. We can talk about what happened in different time aspects, what happened before this experience, during the experience, and after the experience. You can talk about your feeling when you had this experience. Were you nervous? Were you bored to death? Were you terrified? Terrified means afraid. This looks like a relaxing experience. How would you describe it? What language could you use to impress the examiner? Chilled out. Chilled out means relaxed. Blissful experience. Blissful means extremely happy. Hot rocks on my spine. Hot rocks are those stones that are on her back. This is a form of massage called hot rock massage. Essential oils. essential oils. They often come in little bottles and they're scented. Aromatherapy. Aromatherapy uses these essential oils. These oils are used and massaged onto your body, and this is a form of therapy, or you can think of it as like a medicine or cure for something. It might help a sore back, it might relieve a headache. The last experience was a relaxing one. This looks like the opposite. Let's see some language we can use to describe this experience. Buzzing with excitement. Buzz, like the buzz from a bee, the noise. Casinos are very noisy. There's lots of noise going on. Slot machines, people talking, the chips falling. It's buzzing with excitement. Constant barrage of noises. Again, this is describing the noise that's going on, the slot machines, the chips being counted. Immersive experience. Immersive means that you're totally involved in it, that you're not aware of anything outside this experience, and casinos are often this way. There's very few distractions other than the excitement and buzz that's been provided inside of the casino. There's usually no windows, so you can't see outside. You're unaware of anything that's happening outside the casino. You don't know what the weather's like. You don't even know if it's day or night unless you're wearing a watch. Over the moon. Over the moon is a way to describe the feeling if you have a big win. Over the moon means that fantastic feeling you have when you win something or when you receive extremely good news, such as a new baby or a job promotion or winning the lottery. Ecstatic. Ecstatic is that feeling of extreme excitement. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like it so that will help this video to rank better and enable people such as yourself to see this video. Please subscribe to me if you'd like to get alerts of my upcoming videos as I produce them and as I upload them. Best of luck with your study in 2020.